Lush, and I've stepped outside the Hub Culture Pavilion, and I'm really pleased now to be joined by Lynda Gratton. She's a professor at London Business School and the author of The 100-Year Life.
Yeah.
Now tell me about that. What is the 100-year life?
Well, you know, the truth is we're going to live to 100. Every decade, people are living two years longer, and that means that we might make it to 100, and certainly our children will, and definitely our grandchildren will. And so that means that in the space of one generation, people have to come to terms with living 100 years rather than 70 or 80 years.
So what does that actually mean in terms of personal decisions that I might need to make through my life?
Well, it basically means the redesign of life. You know, when you think about your grandfather, you know, leading a life, his was probably what I would call a three-stage life. Full-time education, full-time work, full-time retirement.
Yeah.
If you stretch that out to 100 years, then the first thing is you'll be working until you're 80.
Right.
So that already is ridiculous.
Right.
And that means you have to have a multi-stage life. And we also think some really fascinating new stages are going to emerge.
So personally, I guess I'm a member of the gig economy, so I do lots of different things, or a portfolio economy. Is that the sort of thing, or what else are you seeing?
Well, yes. In fact, actually, you know, when you get a change like this, you find people like you know, the role models moving first into new ways of living. And so what we're already beginning to see is more people taking time out to explore. You know, why is it only our kids have gap years? Why aren't we having gap years? To explore and to learn. We're seeing more people become independent producers because you know, it's incredible technology innovation is really giving us opportunities to do that. And then more like you, building a portfolio.
And in terms of geographies that have found this most interesting, I know that's been a real hit in Japan.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, yes, it was recently the best-selling book in Japan. Why is that? Well, just here at Davos, I ran a session this morning on it, and one of the Japanese participants said, well, you know, of my 4 grandparents, well, the fact that they were all alive was already something.
Right.
All of them are still living, and they're all between the ages of 90 and 100. I mean, Japan is the longest living you know, place right now. And that means that if you're a Japanese person, it's already sort of in your mind that you're going to live 100 years. And also, because it's an aging population, people are having to think really deeply about some of the basic stereotypes of age. You know, what is it to be 40-year-olds? What is it to be 50? What is it to be 60 or 70? And I think we're redefining what we think of as age.
It has implications too for what we need to do as a civil society to think about healthcare, but also to think about brain health and things like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, this morning when I ran the workshop, we had 2 medical doctors there, and both of them said, you know, your health at 70 really determines the rest of your life. So, and you've got to be healthy at 70. You know,
Right.
The government can't make you healthy. Your corporation can't. You have got to decide that actually long lives are about being healthy. If you want to live a long, productive life, you have to remain healthy. And also, you have to build what I would call your intangible assets right the way through your life. What are intangible assets? Well, here's 3 examples. The assets that help you to remain productive, the assets that help you to remain vital and healthy, and also, you know, the assets that help you to transform yourself, because you're not going to be the same person between now, you know, between now and the age of 100. You're going to change. But actually, for us, transformation is rather complicated. So how do you encourage and help people to transform big agendas, as you say, for government, and also big agendas for corporations, who tend to be very stereotyped when it comes to age, very inflexible, and still living on the 3-stage model when it's coming to an end.
In terms of intangible assets, are we talking about things like emotional intelligence and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, that's the basis of it.
Right.
And I would say emotional intelligence, but also social capital. One of the really interesting things, many interesting things about living long lives is, guess what? Your relationships are absolutely crucial. You know, people might think in the West, and we talked about this morning, oh, you know, I'm very individualistic, I'm going to be fine. My MBA students at London Business School might feel that. But the truth is, to live a long, productive life, you have to live with other people.
Right.
You know, you have to live with people work with people who are going to help you and mentor you and coach you. You have to be with people emotionally who help you be sort of regenerated. And actually, if you want to transform yourself, you have to spend time with people who are different from you. That's actually one of the interesting things.
Absolutely. Now, we learn more from people that are different to us.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you so much,
my
Lynda,
pleasure.
for
Thank you.
Stopping by my pop-up pavilion here in Davos. And I'm Edie Lush.
Thank you, Edie.